And we're back here, Main Event Tuesdays with this guy, local legend Bruce Cooper joins us. No Diamondback stuff, no Texas Rangers stuff today. What's going on?
Well, you know, the Diamondbacks are they're back to really, teeing me off a little bit. I mean, last night in St. Louis, 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position. They had runners at second and third and one out, and your star, Ketel Marte, at the plate.
Yeah.
It's a comebacker. Pitcher gets the runner going from third to home in a rundown, and then Perdomo grounds out the second. I mean, it's just happening way too often.
Frustrating is the way I say it. Just absolutely frustrating.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. I mean, when I'm watching Mike Hazen put this roster together, I'm getting really frustrated, particularly as it relates to the bullpen, because I'm saying, well, maybe he's being told by management, by ownership to, trim the cost. And so I said, okay, if that's the case, then I'll accept it. But let me tell you something. Paul Sewald, Taylor Clark, and Jonathan Loaiza, all people that I thought he was just throwing out to fill out a roster, they have all exceeded my expectations. They have pitched above and beyond.
Absolutely. This bullpen's been fantastic.
Absolutely. And then Michael Soraka, I'm like, okay, that's just, but
Friday night.
Him and Eduardo Rodriguez are arguably the two best pitchers. They're the stoppers, the aces of this staff right now.
Yeah.
And so then, and so now recently what we're seeing Soroka go down with an injury. Yeah. And that's all coming on top of the news of Corbin Burns and A.J. Puck getting setbacks.
They just lost the other reliever, Ryan Thompson.
Oh, gee, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, they lost him.
Yeah, and so
I think it was a shoulder.
And then you have Jordan Lawler. And
he can come back, but it could be end of the year, just to give you an update on it. Yeah, they lost him over the weekend, too.
I didn't even know that. So then you had, Jordan Lawler. And I mean, the injuries are just piling up. But it's still no excuse. It's no excuse when you are in a one-run game and you have second and third, nobody, one out, and your best player at the plate.
I was at the game Sunday. The first game I'd been to as a fan all year was on Sunday and everything. And so I was just sitting back, wasn't doing notes, wasn't doing anything, was just sitting back, enjoying the game, whatever. I didn't realize how frustrated I was with the Diamondbacks until I was just sitting there as a fan watching this game. Because when we watch it, we watch it with an eye of media. We got to talk about it, making notes, doing whatever. And I just sat back, phone not on, just watching the game. And about halfway through that game, I was like, "This is frustrating to watch." As a fan.
Yeah, who was a rookie pitcher they called up?
Cabrera. Yeah, I want to talk to you about him.
Yeah, and
okay, I got a list for you, buddy. If you want to talk about this, I wanted to get your. You've been around this Diamondbacks team. You've seen the World Series team. You saw the '98 team. You saw the Babybacks, which were frustrating in their own right, and that was mismanaged by different regime here, same owner but different regime. Stuff to that. You sat through the Kirk Gibson years, like we all did. But you were in the media then. And just how it compares to the way this team is run today, I just find it frustrating, man.
Yeah, and here we are. We're Torey Lovullo's in that final year of his contract, and that's when he seems to do his best. When he's a lame duck manager, he seems like that brings the best out of him. But here you are. I'm talking about the game last night, and then I'm watching. Guess who's batting cleanup? Pavin Smith. Yeah. Are you freaking kidding me?
In his defense, he's batting. Oh no, he's back down to 174. But he was above 200 this weekend. He's above. I'll put it this way: on Sunday, because when you're watching it on TV, you don't always get the crowd reaction. I'll tell you this: when he came up to bat on Sunday, there was an audible groan in the stand to the point where my 15-year-old daughter goes, "Pavin Smith sucks." Before his first at bat. And I go, wait, Pavin Smith? Because that's where you tell somebody's struggling. Yeah. He goes, grandma, meaning her mom or grandma on her mom's side, who's a big Diamondbacks fan, all she does is complain about him. Yeah. So if a grandma sitting at home notices how bad he's playing, she's not on social media, she's not being influenced by that. And then my 15-year-old daughter knows Pavin Smith isn't playing well. But the Diamondbacks keep trolling him out there. Doesn't that say something?
Well, and so it takes me back to again, and I had to give again Hazen credit because I just poo-pooed just about every move he made,
Yeah.
and then the one he didn't make. I mean, I'm like, I think
But
every
which one?
I think every Diamondback fan was expecting it to happen. They expected him to sign Paul Goldschmidt.
Goldschmidt, yeah.
Yeah,
He's not playing well.
who Goldie?
Yeah.
Well, that's okay because let me tell you something. He's a better option at cleanup than Pavin Smith. He's also a better defensive first baseman than Pavin Smith. And then let me tell you this. So when he signs Nolan Arenado and Santana, I'm like, geez, please. But I will say this. Santana did live up to my non-expectations. But I will admit that Nolan Arenado.
They hired them for their defense, not for their bats. And
Right.
they were vocal about it. They said, we don't care if these guys hit or not. We want them on the field for their defense. They flat out said that before this.
Well, let me tell you something.
So-
Let me tell you something. Okay, then what I'm and this is what I would do at this point. I mean, honestly, I would move Arenado back from third, his original position, put him at first base. I'd bring Tommy Troy from left field, put him at third base because we saw at Stanford that's what he was. He was an infielder like Jordan Lawler. Now Lawler successfully made that transition to outfield. Just like Tatis did with the Padres. Now I'd bring back up Ryan Waldschmidt, and so I'm ready to play these young kids.
So will Arenado go to first? I guess is more of a question.
What
right?
now?
He's been an all-star third baseman for how many years?
Well, look. At some point, you have to realize this: the dude is what, over 35?
Oh yeah.
How many more
pushing 40.
years does he? His future is not ahead of him.
And he
But
knows
Tommy Troy's future is.
Yeah.
And so until I can figure out my first base dilemma, I'm moving Nolan Arenado to first base. I'm going to play my young kid, Tommy Troy. Even though his batting average is not up there, I think he hit his fourth home run last night.
Last night bombed one last night.
Yeah.
But
And
Sunday was my first time seeing Tommy Troy in person. First at bat, I went, Second at bat, third I was like, okay, I see what everybody sees in this. I wasn't judging him on it, but it was just first time seeing him where you see the mannerisms before the pitches and stuff like that. And it was definitely good. I think Tommy Troy's got it, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
He's got to put it together.
Yeah, now look, you're exceedingly well in the bullpen, so that you got to say that's fixed. And so I don't need to rush AJ Puck or Justin Martinez back. If they have to sit out the rest of the year, I'm okay with that because but Corbin Burns was another situation, but we already know at the earliest it's September, and so if the Diamondbacks aren't even in this thing by then, why even bring him back?
You bring him back because you might not have baseball for a long time next year, and you don't want in his prime Corbin Burns to not pitch for 3 years. Now, assuming there's no baseball next year, it'd be the third year.
Okay.
But 2.5 years of non-competitive baseball. I want to see Corbin Burns. I don't care if it's the last game of the year. Go out there and pitch 3 innings just to get back out on the mound and get that rust off.
Okay, but here's the deal. I know it's only a short 5-inning sample of Cabrera.
Yeah.
But obviously we're going to see more going forward. But I also want to see Brandon Pfaadt come back up.
So I want to ask you this really quick. Paul Goldschmidt's batting average is actually up right now. He's batting .289, 12 home runs, 37 RBIs.
He's batting what?
289.
Dude.
Yeah, he's improved since I last saw him. I watch a lot of Yankees.
How many home runs and RBIs?
12 home runs, 37 RBIs.
Dude. So now and he's doing that in New York, right?
In New York, yeah.
I got to believe those numbers would be even better with the Diamondbacks.
Now the question I got it because he's a lefty, right? Goldie's a lefty.
No, Goldie best right hand.
Oh, he's a righty. Okay. Okay, you might be right because the lefty's there. You have that short right field port, so I always question the home runs being hit in Yankee Stadium because sometimes they get more home runs there because of that short porch. But no, that's right. Goldie's a righty. That's right. I don't know why I forgot that. But no, I agree with you. And it's and they did he commanded more money. I didn't mind the Santana. My biggest concern with the Santana one was they just were flat out like, we don't care about his bat. We want him for his defense. It's only $2 million, so you can get out of that pretty quickly.
No, but look, I think what did Goldie sign for? $8 million in New York?
Something like 7 or 8. Yeah.
Dude,
I don't disagree.
Look, I've watched the Diamondbacks shell out foolish money to Madison Bumgarner.
But I also
and Jordan Montgomery.
I also wonder if they were like reaching out, and Goldie was like, "I don't want to play for you."
I don't know that case. I think Goldie would come back. I really do.
From what I hear, he loves it in New York. What I've heard.
Well,
I mean, look, Bruce, let's face it. New York Yankees, Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm going to the Yankees.
Well, okay, but if you're looking for a family,
well, that's the other
comfortability,
after,
which is what
after the season, because his career is almost over.
Which is what Goldie had in Arizona.
Yeah.
Look, like I don't know, maybe he did. So, but I'll just tell you this. I'm not going to blame Mike Hazen because it seemed like every move he's made, save Santana, has been one that's really worked out and proven to be good for the Diamondbacks.
For the free agency side.
Yeah, but
the bullpen's working out this year because the starting pitching until recently has been good.
Well,
going 5-6 innings, which the problem that they had with their bullpen last year was the bullpen arms were all tired in June because they were throwing so many.
But still, you have to give him Hazen again credit for going out and getting a guy like Soroka.
Yeah,
I mean Soroka. Look, and I don't know what's led to the renaissance of. Eduardo Rodriguez. Many people talk about the World Baseball Classic.
It's the World Baseball Classic.
And if that's the case, so be it. But those are two of the best pitchers on this staff. And I hated to see that Ryan Nelson went down because, man, I mean, he was their best pitcher last year, man. He was Ryan Nelson. And he's a young arm, and I just wanted him to see him to continue to develop.
Let me look up here because they had so many injuries. I can't even keep them straight now. Yeah. Ryan Nelson, 15-day IL. What officially it was, partially torn right flexor tendon.
Yeah,
what it ended up being.
I don't know what all that means, but it doesn't sound good.
No, not for a pitcher, right? Not for a pitcher. Lawler's hamstring. That's a concern, man.
Yeah, that's the second year in a row now.
Yeah, and he tore it off the bone last year. Came back from that injury in minor leagues at third base. Came back from that injury and did it again. And now he tears another hamstring. And it's like, do we not stretch these guys out?
Yeah, and you know what? And he's played extremely well in his starting opportunities with the Diamondbacks. He's one of the most. I think he's the only player that's batting over 300.
He's missed. Yeah,
I know he's missed a lot of time.
I get confused now because of the time he's missed. But that's a serious. This is what I don't get. They baby Ketel Marte, whether you think of it good or not. They baby him. What do they always say? He's got hamstrings, so he can't steal. We don't want him running strenuously because he's got bad hamstrings and stuff. You're gonna have to do that for Lawler at this point, don't you?
Yeah. Well, you know, and so I know I hear a lot of people criticize Torey because he's, they question how can he even have, stewardship or control of the locker room or the clubhouse when he can't say no to a star player and say, no, I need you in the lineup tonight. And so they feel that that's a trickle down effect.
That comes from Hazen.
Yeah, and
I mean they haven't said it, but last year it was alluded to that's a Hazen decision.
Hey, now look, you said I've been around. Look, I've been around when you had people like Buck Showalter who just created this scary or fear tactic in the clubhouse, and that type of culture. And I don't think that's a good thing. I mean,
you go from that to Bob Brenly, who was a veteran coach. Bob Brenly can't coach young kids, but he sure can take veterans and be a veteran type of a coach. But there's a fine line between babying your players and also being stern with them as well. I got a clip from you from Torey. I played it yesterday. We'll play it when we come back here. Okay. The other thing I want you to kind of think about here during this break is you brought up the way Hazen goes. You can give Hazen a ton of credit on his moves. You can criticize him as well and give him a ton of credit. I tend to go more on the side of the way the day-to-day, like if he is allowing Marte to have days off and this is his doing, not Torey's, I have problems with that with the general manager and stuff like that. But I have a fundamental problem with the way they've handled a pitching situation, and it cost them. Not originally. It doesn't look like it's cost them yet. But you have a major league ready pitcher, starting pitcher in the minor leagues right now because of the way you handled him when you took him out of the starting lineup earlier this year. And I got a problem with this as well as Cabrera pitch. So we'll talk about Brandon Pfaadt and his handling Because you said you want to see him back up here.
Yeah.
There's one reason why he's not back up here right now, and we had to see Cabrera on Sunday, which wasn't a bad thing. Cabrera I thought was great. I like the way they handled him. It's great. So we'll talk Brandon Pfaadt and that handling situation as well with Bruce Cooper, folks. Here on this Tuesday. Then we got some NBA draft talk coming up, folks.
Oh, yeah.
Whew. Yeah, Bruce, I want to know who you have the Suns taking at number 47 tonight. Actually, tomorrow night, second round. Come on back, folks, to the main event. And we're back here, second hour main event. Still Hella Strays off today as well. Up in Half Moon Bay or whatever it's called up there in San Francisco area. Having some fun with the family with the new grandbaby. And, of course, Bruce Cooper came in. Talking some Diamondback. We were just talking off air there on the NBA draft tonight and the Giannis trade. I'm just happy that story's over finally. That was ridiculous.
Yeah, the Bucks can finally move on. But, even though I thought he would wind up in Boston and the Bucks would get Jaylen Brown.
We'll talk about that. I can't believe that didn't happen.
That didn't happen. They still did okay. I mean, they got a nice haul from the Miami Heat.
Oh, yeah, no. Milwaukee's probably going to turn this around and not take – I'll even argue they might be a little bit better this year without Giannis.
Yeah. Look.
We'll talk about that.
Look. They suffered the same ills that the Suns did when the Suns went out and tried to bring in Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant. Well, they tried to add Damian Lillard to that, and are you
saying that's the side? Because to me, for the Bucks, we'll talk in depth on this coming up. But to me, the problem was they placated to Giannis. Giannis was not showing up to meetings, was getting on the plane, holding the plane an hour for him to show up late. Things to that effect, that erodes a team more than anything else does.
Well, they thought in Milwaukee they could run that high screen and roll with Damian Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Well, we all know, we've watched Lillard for years. He's a great scorer. He's not necessarily, even though he's in a point guard type body, he's not that dude.
No, he's a shooter.
And so that was a bad fit or a bad mix, just like what the Suns had with KD and Bill here in Phoenix. And so I think that Milwaukee's gone a different route now, and I think it'll be a better fit for them.
On a side note, we'll get back to baseball here in just a second. I was reading today that the Rockets have made everybody on their team available except for one guy, one of their young kids.
Oh, is it Amin Thompson?
Thompson.
Yeah.
Other than that, they said, hey, if you want him, come get him.
Wow.
Leading into the draft tonight, which it fascinates me because the Rockets were an up-and-coming team 2 years ago. Trade for Kevin Durant. Now everybody's available.
Well, yeah, look. They had 52 wins the year prior to obtaining Durant, and they had 52 wins with Durant. Yeah. And their biggest problem in the playoffs was their inability to make those Jalen Brunson type clutch plays down the stretch. So
Green couldn't make those shots.
Yeah, and so they went and they got KD. Well, KD played one playoff game for him?
Yeah. Missed out otherwise. Ankle injury or whatever.
I don't know
whatever injury he had. Social media injury. His feelings were hurt. His feelings got hurt reading social media. Let's get back to baseball here because you brought up the Brandon Pfaadt. And my thoughts on Cabrera was I was there on Sunday. Mm-hmm. So we were just off of home plate there in the second level there. So I wasn't able to see a lot of the movement, but you could see it. It was fooling the Minnesota Twins and stuff to that effect. They pull him out after 65 pitches. Kids pitching 80 down in Reno. All of that. Pull him out early. He's dealing. He says the bullpen. We felt the bullpen could have saved the game. Well, you end up losing it and stuff like that. But I believe, and I'm going to play a thing here for you on Torrey in a second. But remember Dre Jamieson when he was a starter. Mm-hmm. Then they put him in the bullpen. Then they kind of bring him out of the bullpen back to start. Ends up having Tommy John surgery. Because just what you were doing to him, you can't do that to kids today. You can't do that to baseball players. It's shut down. So this year, fast forward, they learned nothing from that. Well, they learned something from it. They said, okay, Brandon Pfaadt, you're out of our starting lineup. We're going to put you in our bullpen. And then injuries start to creep in. You find out Corbin Burns isn't coming back till September now. And they go, Brandon Pfaadt, go down to Reno now and get re-stretched out. He's not ready to come up and pitch. So what do they have to do? They have to bring up Cabrera now. You have a major league starting pitcher in AAA Reno because you sent him to the bullpen instead of sending him down to stay stretched out. You put him in the bullpen, allowed him not to stretch out, and you have to bring out a kid. Like I said, it was a good effort. I liked him. I want to see him pitch again. I'd want to see him way before I see Gallen and Harold Kelly to some certain extent and stuff. But this is just mismanagement. You have a major league starting pitcher. He's proven he can be up here. Does he make mistakes? Absolutely. But you're not ready to bring him back up because you put him in the bullpen instead of having him ready to go when Zach Gallen is struggling like he is?
Yeah.
It's mismanagement, and that's what drives me nuts about this team. And then they sit there and they try to gaslight us by going, oh, well, just this kid can't do this and this kid can't do this. We need him to work on that. What? And then you leave Zach Gallen out there giving up over 6 year. I brought this up yesterday. You cut Russ Ortiz back in the day because he had a 5.88 ERA. Unacceptable. And you're running Zach Gallen out there every 5 days with a 6 ERA?
Dude, I didn't know this, but I read this. Gallen got booed off the mound at home.
I was sitting at home watching that game on Saturday. It was a blowout. And they put him out there for the 6th. And I was like, what are you doing? He obviously doesn't have it. Go to the bullpen. And then I think it was Jack Summers, Diamondbacks on SI. They're the best group to follow for the beat writers around the Diamondbacks. They're just the best, that whole group. He responded to somebody, and he said, well, it's probably because they had to use 8 bullpen guys last night because Soroka had to leave early with the injury. And I'm like, I don't care how many guys they had to use the night before. Zach Gallen don't got it. What are you doing? And then you use that excuse on Saturday. Well, they didn't. It was floated out there by Jack Summers. And then on Sunday, you go out and you take Cabrera out early to go to the bullpen. It's the mixed messaging is what drives me nuts with this Diamondbacks team.
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense. Than just the night before, you use that as an excuse, and then the very next night, then you go back to that bullpen.
Yeah.
And look,
I mean, Murillo's been pitching well.
You know what?
It's not like 99 mile per hour sliders shouldn't be hittable.
No,
and
but
they were hittable on Sunday.
Yeah, but you know what? So he's doing this thing. He has 2 outs and a runner on first base and 2 strikes on the next hitter, and that next hitter started a string of 3 straight hits.
Yeah.
And so. Look! I like Murillo's stuff. He's been one of the big bullpen surprises as well. And he for whatever reason he just didn't get that knockout pitch that he needed.
I've heard some people go, well, they're not using the bullpen enough, so these guys are going out there now. They're not struggling because they're not being used enough. And I'm just like, okay, guys have off days. You can't complain about that. To me, the colossal mistake was taking Cabrera out so early. That's what sets it up.
Yeah, and now I was reading where he had he utilized 6 different pitches.
Oh my gosh! Like I said, I was off center, but I can tell you this: the Twins batters were confused as all heck. Now that's what and Torrey had said. I don't have that clip, but Torrey said they took him out 2 times to the lineup, and they thought that they didn't want him to go through a third. Why do we have to baby these guys so much?
Or overmanage?
Let him stay out there. He gave up. It was 1 out, and a guy got on first. And then he walks out to get him. And he's dealing at 62. It'd be another thing if he's at 85, 90, something to that effect. That's a different story on his first major. It's an emotional day. I get it. But he was dealing at 62. What are we doing? But here's what I wanted to bring up. Well, first of all, that Pfaadt handling side. This drives me nuts. A guy that you started the season with in your starting lineup, and he's not ready to be your guy when guys get injured to come up and fill a spot because you don't have him stretched out.
Yeah, he was the Diamondbacks ace during that run to the World Series in 2023.
This is mismanagement beyond belief. So you can give all the credit necessary to Hazen, but at the same time, they make monumentally bad mistakes and errors in their stuff. And then on top of it, when Pfaadt was coming in as a relief pitcher, he wasn't very good at it.
No. Look.
So your thoughts on their handling of Pfaadt and why he's not filling that role?
Yeah, I agree with you. That was not a good decision, especially knowing that he still had some minor league options.
Yeah, I think he had if he didn't have an option, No, you put him in the bullpen.
Right,
Absolutely.
right. The fact that
It's
he
a choice,
had,
but he had an option.
yeah, and you need to keep him stretched out. And like you said, I guess it did. Their mismanagement of Font did lead to the revelation of Jose Cabrera.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It's I'm not upset about the movement up. Cabrera did well in his first game. Now he'll get another.
Yeah, we'll see what
opportunity
happens
here
going
and
forward.
stuff
But yeah,
like that. And I'm not saying he's going to fail. Major League Baseball players can adjust. His stuff is wicked. He's a big dude, and his stuff was wicked on Sunday.
Yeah, the fact that he has 6 different pitches makes him unique already in my mind. And I'll be honest, I didn't even see him pitch because, see, I made the mistake of thinking that it was the normal 1 o'clock start.
Oh yeah, it was noon.
Yeah,
and it was weird getting there early, Coop.
Yeah, and so I actually missed him. Yeah.
It was funny, man. He goes out to warm up, gets to the mound for the first time, and we're sitting there, and I'm watching him, and he skips his first pitch. I mean, skipped it like 5 feet in front of the home plate. And I went, uh-oh. I go, nerves.
Yeah.
And then he's all like, then he's doing the whole thing on the mound, like scuffing it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it was kind of, and I was like, uh-oh. Like I said, it's not that we get to see Cabrera, because I think Cabrera could turn into something.
Yeah.
With his movement. I mean, he's a big dude too.
Yeah.
I was shocked how big he was. And I'm not saying he can't turn into something, but
But let's say he does. Let's say
stretching Font out, we're stuck with you can even stretch it farther. So Cabrera's up, great, perfect. It's fantastic. We get to see him again. I'm not arguing that, but we cannot see Zach Gallen again.
Yeah,
which means Font needs to be up here, and he ain't ready.
Yeah, look. I think it's incumbent upon the Diamondbacks to drop this loyalty act and just go with what the best, or even go with the youth movement.
You know what
look,
you do?
Zach
You go,
Gallen,
Zach
Gallen needs to be traded.
What you do is who's going to take him?
I don't know, but there are teams that are also losing starters, and so he does have some type of market.
You got to be careful because this is not a Diamondback issue. These injuries and stuff is not a Diamondback issue.
Look.
So, because a lot of people go, this Diamondbacks team, although it's frustrating, and it is, the Diamondbacks are getting it more than other teams are. Everybody's going through injuries right now.
Yeah.
So you got to be aware of that. You got to be careful on that. But it's just, but I don't know if I agree with you on that. But then the other side of it, if you think about it, $22 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's a loyalty deal for him because nobody else was paying him that much.
Well,
I think you deferred it.
Well, here's
you deferred
the
it
deal.
for $5 million a year.
I think when the Diamondbacks extended their offer to him, I think that's the number that it came in at. Was 22. I do believe
I think
that.
there was another team that was looking at him around that number, and I think that's why he came back here for that number. There was something about that number.
Yeah, that number is, if it wasn't exact, it's close to.
But then extending it out over 4 years now.
No. That's a 1-year deal.
No, but they floating out the money. They owe him like $5 million for the next 4 years. It's a 1-year deal, but what do you call that?
So they
deferred the money.
The Ohtani type money?
They deferred the money on that. It just makes it look a little worse, right? Like you're complaining about payroll and you're going to have dead money on it for the next 3 years? Because that Gallen ain't coming back.
Well, no, yeah. You can, look, you can.
He had a 5.6 ERA last year, Coop.
Yeah. Hey, look. And
he's worse this year.
The money comes out the same, but I get it. I mean, you either pay him $22 million in that year one, or you stretch it out $5 million over 4 years, and so look. I'm still mad at Ohtani for giving the Dodgers so much deferred money.
I forget about the salary cap. I think the number one thing owners need to do is no more deferred money.
Well, yeah.
And in the CBA, you can't defer the money anymore.
Well, what Ohtani did was he allowed the Dodgers to go out and sign more stars.
But it's not just him. Mookie Betts, Freeman, they all have deferred. The Dodgers, most of the Dodgers team is deferred money. It's not just Ohtani. But I think that's what Major League Baseball needs to do as ownership is, no, that's going to bring money down. You're not signing Ohtani for $700 kajillion unless you can defer that. So you're going to bring money down just by not deferring stuff anymore. Is my argument, right?
Yeah.
Well, so the mismanagement on Font's a big deal. That's on my mind. Injuries are going to happen, but here's the problem. Torrey, this is over the weekend. Torrey's talking about this, and this is what drives me nuts. I want to get your thoughts on this before I pollute you with my thoughts and stuff. Here's Tori on pitching injury. This is when you found out about Nelson Puck over the weekend. So this was before the Soroka injury, I do believe. Here's Tori over the weekend.
We're trying to ask ourselves that question internally, and it's hard to say the reason why. I think it's been happening all over Major League Baseball. In my opinion, that's why we try to keep pitch counts down. I know that the older generations like that 140, 135 pitch range, the pitch count. I think we're just trying to protect our athletes. These guys are throwing the ball extremely hard. Their new elbows are fortified with bracing, not just new ligaments. And with being able to create more torque, will put more stress on other parts of your body, particularly the shoulder. So I don't know what that answer is. I just know that we're hyper aware of how to keep our athletes healthy here. And I'm going to hold that line. I know I take a beating from you guys about why I do things and how sometimes I do things a little bit outside of the box, but I might know information that you guys don't. I might have something in my pocket that's going to protect an athlete, but I'm always going to do right by the athlete's health. So, I'll look at myself and Nelly's usage. I've been looking back at the consistency of the pitch counts with the build-up. Would I have any responsibility in this? And I think everybody inside of that clubhouse should as well. But I think it's just today's athletes are very strong and built differently. And you're able to give a little bit different diagnosis today. You can get very specific. I don't know. I'm guessing.
Your thoughts there, Bruce?
Well, when I hear him talk about pitch count, I know that, and the word might be trust. He trusts certain pitchers more than he does others, because you can have a situation in the fifth inning and a pitcher may only have 65 pitches or whatever, maybe 70, and Tori will pull that pitcher out. But if that pitcher is named Zach Gallen, if that pitcher is named Merrill Kelly, then they have a longer leash, and so pitch count really doesn't come into play.
So you're thinking kind of like what I'm thinking. Is I have a bigger issue with that comment, but then I instantly thought of Cabrera. I saw that before Cabrera pitched. Cabrera's used to pitching 80-something pitches in Reno. He's stretched out to pitch 80-something pitches. He didn't have any tough innings, and you pull him out at 62 because it was his first start, and you're worried about him.
No, he just doesn't trust him.
When you manage, to me, I've come to this conclusion: the Diamondbacks manage out of fear of what might happen. That's not a way to coach. He's worried. I'm worried that if I leave him out there for another inning, he could give up a long bomb. I'm worried he could get injured. I'm worried he might be sore tomorrow.
Well, I'm going to interrupt for one second.
Yep.
I really, truly believe why he brought him out, it goes back to what you stated earlier. He said he didn't want them to see him a third time around. That means he doesn't trust him.
Yeah, doesn't trust.
And so, but if it were Kelly or Zach Gallen, despite the fact that they may have double-digit ERAs.
You saw that on Saturday. He put Kelly out there in the sixth.
He'll bring him right
Kelly
back out.
should not have been out there in that sixth inning. They put him out there, and I was like, this is going to be a disaster. But he put him out there because he trusts him.
Yeah.
But that's the issue, is when you have this stuff. But it's just you heard him there again say, I got to protect the players. You're coaching out of fear that something bad's going to happen out there.
Absolutely.
Go out there. I have a saying. I had it last year. I brought it out yesterday again. Tori doesn't allow his players to be great. Tell me the last time a Diamondbacks player did something great, meaning, oh man, he was out of gas and he went another inning and just barreled down, went to that bottom of that hill and got the out in that inning. It doesn't happen. He doesn't allow his players to be great. He goes, oh, this could happen, so I had to go get him.
Yeah.
He might be injured if I leave him out. If he hits that 70, if he's at 70 pitches and he gets to 80, well, something bad might have come out of that. So I need to go out and protect the player at that point. I watch a lot of baseball, and it's rare coaches coach this way. And I've just learned it about Tori. There are some other ones out there that do this, but it's just like they're doing it out of fear of what might happen instead of See what he's made of.
Yeah. Look,
Let's see what he's made of.
I'd rather go by have someone managed by they second guess themselves. Well, I should have brought him out. No, I like to see people develop their confidence. In other words, I'm going to give you this.
Yeah.
When the Diamondbacks had that run to the World Series in '23, and they had these young kids that were creating chaos, and so that's the big mantra: chaos.
Yeah. Run the bases. They were stealing the ball. They were putting pressure on the defense.
And so you had Corbin Carroll, Jake McCarthy was another one of those guys that created that chaos. Now, McCarthy didn't necessarily have the confidence of the management. So when he goes and starts maybe 0 for 23 or goes to a 5 for 40 stretch, like we're seeing with Nolan Arenado and stuff like that, and they stay with him, well, then they send them down.
Well, last year, who was the third baseman last year that Suarez that almost got cut? At one point.
And so what we're seeing in Colorado right now, Jake McCarthy's hitting over 300.
Dude, he's unbelievable.
And he's had a couple of walk-offs recently.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that inside the park on Skeens in the first inning the other night.
And so this is what we already knew about Jake McCarthy.
But we'll say Blaze Alexander's excelling in Baltimore.
Right. And you can say the same too. Here's something we can say about both those guys. They play with an unbridled passion. Effort. They give you, if you look at what, and I'm switching sports, you look at what Jordan, what's the Goodwin? You look at what Jordan Goodwin and Colin Gillespie and Dylan Brooks. Those guys bring a certain tenacity to that culture in that locker room, that clubhouse. Well, that's what Blaze Alexander, that's what Jake McCarthy brought, and so now just because you didn't trust them to stay with them when they're going through their struggles. You send them down and you play a little ping pong game with them. And now with Colorado's such a bad club that they have no choice to stick with them. And then when they stick with them, you see the results because their confidence now. Yeah. They're playing with confidence. They know that they don't have to look over their shoulder when they make a mistake.
But that's what I'm talking about when he says I got to protect the players.
Right.
Leave them out there. You watch your kids struggle, Bruce. You know this. You have kids, right? You watch them. You just stand back and you go, all right, it's gonna end. This is gonna end nasty. To a certain extent. You don't have them grab the iron 7 times, but you sit back and you go, let's see if they learn something here, right? And you just step back a little bit.
Exactly.
If I was Torey Lovello, I'd be like, don't do that because you might get hurt. This might happen to you if you walk by that. And it's like, what?
And that's the wrong way to manage because you will not foster any confidence that way. Yeah, and I'm a dude that's big on confidence. When someone plays with confidence and no longer looks over their shoulder with mistakes. And so again, there's Cabrera. Just because you, just like you're talking about, are managing with fear, or you're managing with the glass half empty because you said, well, I don't want to see him go through the lineup a third time.
Yeah, it's his first game, so it's an emotional day. Well, he's pitching well. Yeah. If he's struggling, it's a different story. It's just, that's what I've learned about that's where I just get frustrated.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm watching the Jake McCarthy Skeens thing was on Saturday morning where he hit the inside the park home run. Now, it was the outfielder misplayed the ball, etc. So there's some other factors involved. But you're watching that, and I'm just sitting there going, when was the last time we saw a Diamondbacks player? Well, now Corbin will stretch a first and get a triple and that type of stuff, but it's few and far between, and I'm watching all these other games going, my God, look at that effort.
Yeah, that's how McCarthy plays.
Yeah, that pitcher, pitcher's out of gas. That manager goes out there and goes, all right, finish up the inning. But probably tells him, I'm going to pull you if you don't get this guy out. Goes back into the dugout and lets him do it. Torey goes out there and gets him. Oh, I was just afraid of what would happen. I'm tired of hearing about what might happen out there. Let's see what happened. If he left Cabrera in that game, and the young kid ends up, then he goes to Diaz. I'll just say it this way. He goes to Diaz, right? Ultimately, DFA. Another guy they've mismanaged, in my opinion. And he's out there, and he gets hard hit right off the bat. Hard hit again. And they stick with him. And it's like, oh, you're sticking with this guy? but you won't let the guy that's dealing. That was on Saturday with that. But then you're not going to let a kid that's dealing stay out there, but you stick with this guy and let him get rocked out there when you see he doesn't have it. It baffles me. You saw Murillo didn't have it. You should have had somebody else up in that moment. You knew what was coming in that game. You knew they were not going to get the lead. You saw it coming. He leaves them out there. That's just where I get frustrated, Coop, on this stuff.
Look, I'm all about allowing performance to dictate your play. In other words, if this guy's only got Cabrera's only got 62 pitches and his performance is saying that I should still be playing, let him play and don't go by this. And look, I get what Torey's saying in the clubhouse now, but I think it's more of an excuse or a reason after the fact. Look, I want to protect him.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I don't want. No, you just didn't trust him. Your first gut instinct that you said earlier, I didn't want them to see him a third time through the lineup.
He also said third time through the line. I wish I had that clip. But then he said after that game, also, the way the bullpen's pitching, we thought they would finish out this game. So he trusted the bullpen more than they trusted the young kid who's dealing.
Again, no matter how you slice it, it comes down to trust.
Absolutely. That is an interesting. I didn't think about that side of it. But it's just as the other thing that drives me nuts about that clip I played for you, that's why I kept that one for you here today, is he always says he has to protect the players. From what? Because the players are getting hurt. What did you protect Soroka from? He's still hurt. So why not let them be great out there and perform?
Yeah.
Because they're going to get hurt anyway, is my argument. Why are you protecting them from getting hurt when all they do is get hurt anyway? And that's not a knock on the Diamondbacks saying that everybody gets hurt, folks. Soroka's injury, probably, it's a shocker it didn't happen earlier, to be honest with you. Erod injury, I'm expecting Erod to have an injury any day now, but because he's injury prone. And the fact he's made it this far without one's amazing. But what do you protect? That's like me saying, Coop, I'm going to protect, I said this yesterday, I'm going to protect everybody from getting stabbed. And then all of a sudden, everybody around me gets stabbed. Well, what am I protecting you from?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and look, you can't forecast injuries, And so I look at Morosky, who's throwing 900 pitches at 1,000 miles per hour every game. Obviously I'm exaggerating.
Look at O'Neill yesterday, the closer for the Cardinals, and what he pitched the day before, Coop, and he came in there yesterday and did what? 100 mile per hour.
And so they'll let this guy Morosky pitch a complete game, 8 innings, stuff like that, and yet he's not getting injured. And then you go back to Corbin Burns, man. Every year he's throwing down near 300 innings in Milwaukee.
Most reliable pitcher in Major League Baseball,
and he's not getting hurt. So I mean, look, you can't. There's no rhyme or reason necessarily, I guess, at the end of the day. But it to me, it just all comes down to trust. Yeah. And Torey trusts certain pitchers, certain players more than he does others.
He's a veteran guy. There's no doubt about that. You see that with Marte. You see that with Perdomo. You see that with Arenado. And what did he say about Walt Smith gets sent down. He needs to work on the high pitching. He needs to learn to lay out those high pitches. So I'm going to send him back down to where he's raking again. He's just dominating.
Well, Gurriel's a veteran. He needs to work on chasing pitches down and away.
David Smith needs to learn how to hit, Coop.
Yeah.
And he's still here.
Yeah. And so look.
And he's your DH, Coop.
Look. Let me take those young kids that have the potential to really blossom and give them the opportunity to do just that.
Yeah.
By sending Waldschmidt down, all you're doing is retarding his progress, because when you bring him back up, he's got to go through that again.
But we know he's going to be good at AAA. Tim Tawa, say what you want about him, I think he struggles at the major league level.
Oh, he does. You think?
But they sent him down to Reno, and the kid's a Hall of Famer in Reno standards down there.
Right.
He's better than AAA.
Right.
Way he's going to get better, Coop, is either you stick with him up here or you unload him to somebody else. That he's proven he's better than AAA talent. And he's not there on the major league level side. So you either got to stick with him up here or move him someplace else. And it's ridiculous how they're doing this game.
Yeah, his problem, just like with McCarthy and Blaze Alexander's, they don't play every day.
And that's the issue.
And so now,
and they're too good to play every day in Reno.
Right.
I mean, they can do it. but they're not going to get better down there. Waldschmidt's not going to get better in Reno. He's going to get better up here. And that's the problem. You have positions for him. Pavin Smith does not need to be I'll even argue ADC probably shouldn't be on this team right now. I'd rather see a young guy, is what I'm getting at, struggle than the adults, veterans struggle on this team.
Yeah. And for that reason, that's why I'm ready to wave the white flag on both Lourdes Gurriel Jr. and Zach Gallen.
Oh, Zach Gallen. Zach Gallen cannot go out onto the mound. I don't care if he goes out there and throws one hit baseball over 7 innings or complete game one hit baseball. I'm sorry. It's just, you cannot go out there when you're sporting a 6 highest ERA and qualified starters. You have a precedent in this organization. And if you don't, I know Russ Ortiz, ironically enough. Autumn knows him really well, and that's how I got to know him and stuff like that. I'm not best friends with him or anything, but I've met with him, I've talked to him and stuff like that. And just, you can't say these performances are that bad. It's where you'll eat these big contracts and then just stick by Zach Gallen. Their fan base ain't going to stand. I'm starting to see the fan base turn a little bit more. Here's my other question for you. So it's just the handling side of it, but it's just, let the players be great. Yeah. Let the players do something. Let's see if they're pitching well. Let's see them go into the 8th inning of a 1-0 game. You might lose it, and we'll all get upset about it. Oh, you left them in there too long. Well, we're all saying you're taking them out too early now. Yeah. Let's see that other side of it. And Coop, something special might happen.
Yeah.
Well, he could lose the lead. You know what he could also do? He can also win it for you.
Yeah. You know. Look. I'll relate a little personal experience, and look, don't misunderstand. I was not a professional athlete, not even close. But it's all relative to confidence, because I was able to play through. When I was let's say maybe a freshman and sophomore, if I made a mistake or something, I look over to the bench to see if I'm coming out.
Yeah, see if they're warming up.
And stuff like that. So now my head's not in the game. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to tell you, my junior and senior years, when I made a mistake, I didn't even look to the bench. I knew I was staying in, and I played at a different level, a confident level, one in which I knew I'm going to go back and make amends for the mistake I just made.
You're going to get an opportunity to fix that mistake, right?
And so so even though I wasn't a professional, it's still relative. So it's applicable to the Jordan Montgomery. I mean, the Jake McCarthy's, the Blaze Alexanders. I mean, the Tim Tauba's, the kids that don't play every day. When you play every day, when you play knowing that you can play through your mistakes and you don't have to look over to the bench to see if coach sends one in front of you, it means the world.
Well, especially for young kids out there. I would actually argue the lack of competition hurts veterans.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Ketel Marte at this point.
Yeah.
The reason why he does do what he does is because he knows nothing's going to happen to him.
Yeah, well,
so he's like, I can go out there and be. Well, I can go out there today and half-ass, or I can take the day off. Doesn't matter. I'll be back in there tomorrow. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I feel like you need the competition level as well to keep even the best of veterans. Not everybody's Michael Jordan that wakes up and finds a reason to dominate.
Here's the deal. You don't look. You don't need competition for Ohtani. You don't need competition for Mookie
But
Betts.
Ohtani's
for Freeman. You don't need it for Ketel Marte. What you need him to do is be professional. What you need to do is have a manager who will hold him accountable.
But that's what I mean by competition as well. Is you're also competing with yourself. Am I going to do well enough out there?
Well, he's got
where my manager's not going to call me in his office later and we have a talk about how bad I've been playing.
Dude, there's something called professional pride, and if you either have it or you don't. Yeah. And I'm never if I don't have that player who has a hunger and a thirst to play in this driven.
I would be frustrated.
Yeah.
I am frustrated with him. He's not the only one either on this team. I'll just say this: when I watch it on TV, you see it, but being there on Sunday, you could just tell. Man, Corbin Carroll hit a ball. Somebody was on third, 2 outs. He hit a ball. He was full sprint trying to win that thing out. Most Major League Baseball players are jogging because they know they're out. He was full sprint to first. You don't always see that on the TV screen, right? Full sprint, and he ended up being out and everything. And then after he got to the base, he was like, Like he was mad he didn't get there before the throw got there. It was like a grounder to second base or something like that, a routine ball. But he's trying to get that run across the plate. You see that, and then you see the other side of it, and that's where I get frustrated. It's like half this team's that way, and I'm saying half, but half this team's that way, half this team's the other way, kind of lethargic out there. And it's just like, oh, let's fight, man. And I get it. It's game 100 and whatever of it, and stuff like that. That plays, but that goes to the manager. It goes to the mentality of the team. It goes to the buildup of the team and what's allowed and what's not. You did change my mind though on the trust thing. That is interesting. I didn't even think about the trust angle, and I think you've sold me on that.
Yeah, I was reading an article in the Republic. It talked about the day the ASU baseball team beat a Major League Baseball team, and they talked about how Bobby Winkles, ASU's coach at
a while ago.
Yeah, how he coached the team. The players ran everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, if they're coming in from the dugout to the outfield or from the outfield back to the dugout, they ran everywhere. They ran. It didn't matter. And so there was a quote from one of the players in there. They're asking. So they asked one of the ASU baseball players that was, I guess the guy was on first base. He says, "Hey man, why do you guys run everywhere?" And he says, "Oh well, Coach Winkles says that that's part of our focus, it's part of our mentality or whatever." And he says, "Well, don't you guys ever get tired?" He says, "No." And
not
so,
when you do it all the time.
Yeah, and so it just took me back to that. That must have been a fun team to watch.
I bet you those teams. I bet you the players love that mentality though too.
Yeah, and they won 3 championships during that like a 5-year span, whatever.
Yeah,
so
the Winkle team.
Yeah, and so I'm like, wow, that must have been a really, really fun team to watch, and yet it reminded me of this, If you manage a certain way and you demand players perform a certain way, and you hold them all to the same standard, because they talked about Bobby Winkles had these guys that were like first overall picks.
Yeah.
I mean, just
treats them the same.
Well,
he treated them with the exception, buddy. You don't let the exceptions are other things. You don't let the standard drop.
Right.
Well, Dale talks about all the time when Dion got to that team. All of a sudden, Michael Irvin, hey, why am I working so hard in practice?
Yeah.
Emmitt Smith, why am I out here practicing when Dion's on the sideline, right?
Yeah.
And before that, they were always the hardest guys out there practicing.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. It does affect
it does matter.
So,
it does matter.
Yeah. But that's what I mean by the competition. It also goes to that level. Marte's got a safe job. Well, so batting practice, instead of just him going in the batting cage and going through the motion. I'm not saying he does this. I don't see him in the batting cage. But let's say you just any player, because I'm tired of picking on Marte. You go into the batting cage and you're just taking swings and you're just connecting with them. It's a routine for you now. You don't care. Change it up. Hey, $100, whatever. You get this or you get that. If you go up against this guy, and whoever hits the most hits, this thing, whoever puts down the most bunts, you just challenge a little bit, hold those standards there. I just think that's what's kind of missing out there. Robert says Troy would not have been moved to the outfield if he was close to that defensive third base that Arenado is. Yeah, I mean, Arenado's defense is not what's hurting him. It was his bat coming here. And St. Louis isn't an easy place to hit in, folks, either. So he's kind of resurgence there. And then he says Hazen crapped the bet on the Goldie thing. He's only making $4 million. I thought is it a 2-year deal then? Because I thought it was 7 or 8 too. Yeah. He said I heard the D-backs wouldn't guarantee him a starting spot. That I did know. They did not guarantee. He wants to play every day, and they didn't guarantee him a starting spot, which is interesting. Well, it's because they love Pavin Smith.
Well, they were going to roll Santana out every day, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. They didn't guarantee it to Santana, but they were going. But it's because they like Pavin Smith. That's why they don't want to do it. Pavin Smith has pictures of somebody that they don't want out. Robert also says pitch count's not the end all be all. Maybe coach them up on how to pitch. And I agree with Robert on this. None of the guys can pound the zone on this Diamondbacks team. It's like they're trying to be finessing and stuff to that effect. He said the disparaging front office coaching.
I think Ryan Nelson's probably the closest they have that does.
Pounded the zone a lot as well. He painted the edges, but he was all over that strike zone on Sunday. But again, coming up. Well, not on this coaching staff.
I know. Ryan, when he likes that high fastball,
Yeah.
and I think when he has that on, this dude can even his second and third secondary pitches.
Yeah.
I mean, they like they paint the corner, but it's all predicated on his fastball. If he has command of his fastball, he's special.
Yeah.
He can pound his
It's
own.
just, you watch these start. Erod throws. That's one thing I'll give Sewald credit on, man. He throws the ball right down the middle of the plate, and every time he lets it go, I'm like, crap. And then he strikes the guy out with it, and you're like, how did he strike that guy out with that down the middle like that? All right, whatever.
Yeah.
It is amazing. But he says the disparity in front office coaching between the D-backs and the Cards is huge. I mean, take that perspective right now as well. The Cardinals, crappy last year, fire sale on their team. They wanted to rebuild so badly. They're paying most of Arenado's contract this year for the Diamondbacks. They got rid of everybody at the trade deadline last year. First place in the wild card standings right now.
Yeah, they are.
You can rebuild it that fast.
8 games over 500.
Go up the wild card standings real quick here as we go to a break here as well. Here's my question for you. Now, they play the Cardinals again coming up in July, middle of July. But these are the teams you have to beat, the Cardinals, if you want to be a playoff team. This is what my take on the Diamondbacks. One, they're a 500 team. Every stat you look at on the Diamondbacks, except for their record against over 500 teams, is about 500, Coop. They're 5-5 in their last 10. They're 500 on the season. The only one that's bad is the over 500 teams where they can't seem to beat those guys.
Well,
You're not a playoff team if you can't beat teams over 500.
yeah. Hey, look. Let's be honest. Save a 13-game stretch against the Giants and the Rockies. The Diamondbacks are an under 500 team.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not even close.
Yeah.
Yeah. And 500 is not going to get you in the playoffs this year, folks. Look at this. Marlins are above 500. Nationals, Padres. A couple of those teams might come back down. But Cubs, Phillies, Cardinals, they're not going to have a big falter here.
Yeah.
They're going to continue to be better. And that's who you're competing with. Even the Reds you're competing with. They're 3 games under 500 right now. And it's just 500 is not going to get it done this year. And the Diamondbacks, I've said it for a couple of years, Diamondbacks are a 500 team. Every stat, and by 500, I mean, because Dale's always like, they're 2 games above it. 4 or 5 games above or 4 or 5 games below 500. Yeah. It's still a 500 team, in my eyes at least. And that's kind of how we qualify it as you go into this as well. But now this series isn't a do or die for me. The one in July is, if you go into that series and get swept by the Cardinals or look bad, your playoff hopes are over. And you're selling at the trade deadline. They're going to be selling here coming up. Especially now the Soroka hurts him because he's on a 1-year deal. If you're going to turn into sellers, he would have been a perfect guy to get some assets back for on his 1-year deal here. If you're going to turn into sell mode, now that he's hurt, you're not going to get very much for him. So it'll be fascinating to see. Today, Erod and Kyle Leahy, 4:45 p.m. Diamondbacks are big underdogs going into today. Does that shock you?
No, but I do. When Erod, it's funny what a difference a year can make. I mean, anytime I saw Erod in the starting rotation a year ago, I just put an L. Now I expect them to win. I mean, he even on the days that he doesn't pitch well.
Yeah.
He's given up maybe 2-3 runs.
Yeah, he's the one that's been hurt the most by the not being able to score for the Diamondbacks because he'll, like you said, he'll give up 2 runs or 3 runs and lose.
Yeah.
When you should win those games.
Yeah, and
he's the one that's been hurt by that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Runs right now are over under 8.5. Under 8.5 is minus 112 there as well.
And you know what really kills me? The
Cardinals are 194.
I think last year the Diamondbacks led the league in runs scored, and the year before that they were like top 3 or 5.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm talking about runs scored.
Yeah, runs scored. Yeah.
And so and this year, I mean, you have essentially the same roster, and you can't hit. I mean, I look at people like Perdomo, who was top 4 in MVP voting. Mm-hmm. I look at people like
he's regressed.
And Ketel Marte. I mean, they have too many people who aren't playing to the level of what you expected them to play at. Their expectation level has dropped immensely.
The only one is Corbin Carroll.
Yeah,
that I think you look at and go, all right, he's at that, which is weird because wasn't that last year he started off so horrible? Or that was last year, right?
Yeah,
which is ironic. He changed his batting stance and stuff to that effect. But that's the issue I also have is here. Del Castillo's been on this team a couple years, regressed. Haven Smith's been on this team, now injury prone, but he's been on this team, regressing. Perdomo last year stepped up, regressing. Marte, he had that great hit on Sunday, right up the middle, right in the gap to score the first 2 runs. He'll do that and then regress after that as well, from your superstar. It's just there's a lot of regression on this team the longer you're here, which tells me it's not a talent thing. That tells me it's an expectation thing. It's not that they expect it to happen. They allow it to happen. I'll put it that way. Diamondbacks allow it to happen.
Yeah.
The pitching staff regressing. Now, Gallen and Kelly, they're just getting old. They're just getting old. You should see it coming. But name a young pitcher. Now, the bullpen this year is exceeding. But name a young starting pitcher. Fodge regressed. He still struggles. He has that 1 inning where he struggles.
Yeah.
Other than that, he's great. He's just got that 1 inning. He'll give up 7 runs. But name a pitcher that's come up through the system and improved once he got up to the major league. It's something you look at going, where's the development? Where's that stuff at? Enough of this Diamondback nonsense today, Coop. Makes me depressed.
Yeah, let's talk NBA draft.
Let's take a break. Come on back here. I want to ask you, I know you're a big Gillespie fan. I know you're a big Goodwin fan. Suns re-signed both of those guys over the weekend. Draft tonight. I want to hear your breakdown of the 47th pick tomorrow night for your Phoenix Suns as well. I do have the mock draft here just because I find it interesting who's going number 1, at least what people are saying they are, and who he's going 2 with Trae Young there. I'm fascinated by this. Not the Warriors, what are they called? Wizards? Are they going to turn out to be a good team here in a couple of years, Coop? Or are they going to ruin it again? Come on back, guys. The main event. We're back here. Main event. We're just talking some NBA draft here as well. Look, I'm not going to break. I'm joking around that Coop has to tell us who the Suns are taking tomorrow night, the 47th pick. Round 1 tonight, round 2 tomorrow. And stuff. We're just talking about the top of the draft order here leading into it. Let's just get the draft talk out of the way here, Coop.
Okay.
Round 1 tonight. I told you all the signs are showing that the Wizards are going with AJ DeMonsa. Well, he was a fantastic player. I think he's young. Fantastic. But with Trae Young signing that big deal up there, I think the better pick, it would be Darren Peterson out of Kansas. But Trae Young's going to be the ball guy up there. So that's why you can't draft him there, which leads it interesting because the Jazz have the 2nd pick. And I think the Jazz are going to get really improved if they draft Darren Peterson, which they should at that point.
Well, here's the deal. We've learned recently, we talked a little bit in this show about fit. Mm-hmm. If the Washington Wizards had not extended Trae Young, a point guard that they acquired from the Atlanta Hawks last year, if they hadn't extended him 4 years, $200 million, I believe the pick would be Darren Peterson.
I agree,
now, Peterson, the reason why he was frustrated playing for Bill Self in Kansas a year ago is that he thought he was going to be the primary ball handler.
Yeah,
but they had him coming off pin downs. They had him more of an off ball. Yeah. He did not like that, and I don't know if people out there noticed that Peterson came up with a lot of DNPs. He did not play.
He would warm up, go into the locker room, and I believe these stories because it was people reporting on it repeatedly. He would go into the locker room and say, "I'm not playing today."
Yeah,
after warm-ups.
Yeah,
which is what your worry is with this kid.
Well, he wanted the ball, and he when he signed with Kansas. He signed with the intention that the ball would be in his hand. He'd be the playmaker because that's how he's always played. And it didn't come out that way. So naturally, he wasn't happy. So now, if you have signed Trae Young, who is a point guard, even body size, I mean, that's what he's played at Oklahoma. That's what he played with the Atlanta Hawks.
He's a point guard. He's a shooting point guard.
And he is. But he wants to. But here's the deal. He wants the ball to start in his hands. So you can't have 2 players who want to start with the ball in their hands. And so that's why you go and you take an A.J. DeMonsa and you let Peterson now wind up with the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz, they can use a scoring a ball handler. They can use a ball handler.
They need a ball handler.
Yeah. Now here's the deal. I'm kind of intrigued by the Jazz. They made that trade late in the year for Jaren Jackson from Memphis, and God, I'm losing their star player that he played.
For the Jazz,
Lauri Markkanen. So you have basically 2 6'11" guys starting at power forward and small forward, and Jaren Jackson and Lauri Markkanen.
Well, they have Keontae George there too, another young player in that backcourt.
But yeah, you can move him to Keontae George. You can move him to the shooting guard and let Peterson be your point, and then you have Walter Kessler as your starting center. I mean, that is a huge front line that the Jazz has, and I think the Jazz can and make one of those 1 year leaps.
Well, this is the year Danny Ainge is. If you follow his Boston Celtics storyline, he's doing the exact same thing in Utah as he's doing there, and this will be the year they'll make a jump. Now, the question you got though is just Peterson's head, because if he was pulling that crap in college, now imagine in the pros if you try to stifle him or tell him he's not going to do something, what his attitude will be
at that point. That's the danger, isn't it?
Well, I think at the NBA, I think at the NBA level, it's a little different. I think he's going to have some veteran people, not only on the roster playing with him, but around him, and then you also can
just in that front office.
You can also dent his pocketbook. See,
fines have a way. Fines and suspicion have a way of changing your attitude. But I just think that he just wanted the ball in his hands, and I think Utah will give him that. And so, but as it relates to the Phoenix Suns, the Suns don't have a first-round pick, but I think they should. And so here's what I'm willing to do with the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns, they have first-round picks in 2027 and 2033 that they can trade.
But they can't trade on. Well, yeah, because they're not consecutive years.
Yeah,
so they can't
those are two that they have available to trade tonight.
Okay.
And so, also, I'm looking at these players. I'm looking at Mark Williams in a sign and trade.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at Grayson Allen. I'm looking at Royce O'Neal. I'm looking at Ryan Dunn. Those four players.
You're putting Dunn in there.
Absolutely. Okay. Those four players plus first-round picks in 27 and 2033. I think I can get at least two first-round picks from that. And here's why. I know for a fact that the Oklahoma City Thunder, who draft 12 and 17 in the first round, do not want both those picks. They are willing to trade one, if not both of those picks.
Did you see Oklahoma City just traded? I forget his name now. They just traded the guy, and they went from $219 million in just tax money down to like 159 or something like that by unloading. Who they unload? Yeah, I'll look it up while you talk.
Wow, I didn't realize.
Yeah, they did that, which is an interesting move. But trying to save on that luxury tag. I'll look it up.
Absolutely. That's because right now, because next year you have Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams. Their big extensions kick in. And so the Thunder don't want to be in that luxury tax.
Aaron Wiggins went to the Hawks.
Is that right? Well, okay. Well, he wasn't really a big.
No, but it was a. My point is, unloading salary because they went from 219 to like 179.
And so those first round picks, they come with guaranteed salary.
Yesterday I wasn't sure. I know they have 17th pick, but yesterday I wasn't sure if it was
11,
12. It's 12 and 17.
They have 12 and 17, and so those monies are guaranteed. First round picks monies are guaranteed. So that's why the Thunder, who also have 3 first round picks next year in 2027, that's why they would be willing to unload one, if not both, because their roster is already stacked.
But where would so they got to look at this. Would a Royce O'Neal, would a Grayson Allen fit into that?
Not necessarily them, but what they would fit, what they would want, what the Thunder would want, is they would want future first-round picks. So you gave them 27 and 33 along with Ryan Dunn. Now, Ryan Dunn is not going to cost them a lot of money because the Suns drafted him low, like
and he'll
29.
fit into that team with his defense.
Yes, he would. Yeah. And so you might be able to get 12 and 17 from the Thunder by giving them future capital, because 12 and 17 is not going to impact them. All it's going to do is going to add to their payroll, which they don't want.
No, they're trying to cut it back.
Right.
Just so you know, I just looked it up because I was sure Atlanta gave them some picks. Atlanta gave Oklahoma City in that trade. Atlanta's number one, or excuse me. Oh, it was for 2 second-round picks. Excuse me. So, Atlanta's in 2030, and then one in 2032 as well. I thought it was. I thought they got a first round.
Yeah. They're. Presley had that team set going for again 3 first-round picks next year. Are you freaking kidding me? So then you asked me about Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a team that desperately needs veteran players, and we saw it in the finals. San Antonio Spurs. San Antonio Spurs could use veteran shot makers from the perimeter like Royce O'Neal, like Grayson Allen.
Grayson Allen would fit in there.
Yeah. And so that would fit for them well. And for them, they have the 20th pick in the first round. And so again,
for the Spurs have the 20th.
Yeah, the Spurs have the 20th. And so again, I think it's possible for the Suns to rest 2 first-rounders out of it. Let me tell you the guys I really like if the Suns are able to get
give us some names to look at.
Look, there's a kid at Baylor, 6'6", 2-guard, Cameron Carr.
Yeah,
I love the heck out of Cameron Carr. And again,
they have him going 15 to the Bulls.
15 to the Bulls
is what the NBA mock draft has.
Okay. 15
just
to
so you know, just the idea of where he's going to go.
So I would take him if I got the Thunder at 12. I would take him there. And keep in mind, I'm going to tell you who Cameron Carr reminds me of with his athleticism and his. I don't know if you've seen Sean Marion used to have a second jump. His second jump was quick. I mean, if he
was back up while everybody else was coming down.
Yeah. Cameron Carr has some of that. And Carr he's an athletic kid. He can play above the rim. He can shoot. I mean, I just love everything about that kid. So he would bring to the Suns something different than what Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal. When Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal, when their shots are falling, they're terrific.
Yeah.
When their shots aren't falling, they don't offer much else to you.
Or when they're injured.
Right, yeah.
Grayson Allen's case. It's hard to make shots when you're on the bench.
Yeah. And also Carr can put the ball on the floor, attack the rim, and create. So I love him from that standpoint.
Carr, interesting enough, he grades a 95th percentile athlete with a rare hyperflexor force production profile, which basically
what
means.
The heck's that?
What basically that means is what you're talking about. He's explosive.
Okay, all right. So
he's faster than everybody else, jumping and everything.
I don't know where Steve finds all this stuff.
I spent way too much time last night studying the NBA draft. It is ridiculous what I know about it.
And I didn't even understand what he said, but I'm glad he was able to dumb it down for the rest of us.
Yeah. You brought it up.
He is an explosive leaper.
You brought it up, but elite explosiveness with unusually fluid moving mechanics, which means he's very quick and you can't keep up with him. That's what I mean.
Yeah, why do people got to complicate the issue? I mean,
it's analytics. It's garbage. It's garbage.
All right. So we got Cameron Carr. Now,
the stuff I know about tonight just makes me want to throw up. I don't know what I was doing. I don't know what I was doing last night. I was torturing myself or something. But who's the other guy you like if they were able to get it back in the first round?
So here's what also hurt the Suns a year ago. Their lack of size at the 4 spot.
Absolutely.
They just have to get there. I mean,
I would argue lack of size everywhere, but specifically
now I don't know where I'm going to give you 3 guys because I don't know where they're going to fall on draft day.
Yeah.
But two of them play for the Michigan Wolverines.
Mm-hmm.
Morez Johnson.
Talking about the guard?
No. Morez Johnson, 6'10" player, and Yaxel Lindenberg, another 6'10" player. Okay. And then over at Cincinnati, I know he played more center there, but he's like a 7-footer. His name is Baba Miller.
Yeah. Yaxel Lindenberg, I know they have going 16th to the Memphis Grizzlies.
Okay,
just to give you an idea of where they're looking.
Okay, so where's Morez Johnson going?
Let me find his name here because him I don't remember. I'll find it here. You keep talking while I look here.
All right, yeah. So Morez Johnson, you know, he played a lot on those 19 under teams with Koa Pete.
Yeah.
And if you watched him play even at Michigan, he's
by the way 14th to the Charlotte Hornets. So you like everybody in that mid-first round range. It looks like.
Well, yeah, because I'm trying to get 12. I'm trying to be realistic. I'm not. Look. Let me tell you guys that I really love. I love like and these are like point guards. I love Markel Brown.
And they're all tall point guards and stuff, too.
I love Brown. I love Darius Acuff, and I love Flemings, Kingston Flemings.
Yeah.
I love those three. Those are no brainers. They're going to be all stars. Of course, he's already talked about the AJ DeBonces, the Cameron Boozers, the Darren
Boozer
Peterson.
going third is highway robbery.
Well,
Cam Boozer to me is the number one pick. He's got injury concerns.
Hey,
he threw the ball away a little late there.
Let me tell you something. Caleb Wilson at North Carolina. You talk about an athletic guy who can play above the rim. I mean, Caleb Wilson's something special.
But I'd go even a step farther. What I love about Cam Boozer is his dad was just this tough dude with better than average talent, but not best talent. Cam Boozer's his dad with more talent.
Yeah, well,
I love him a lot coming out, and he's going to end up third in this draft probably, with Peterson going second here. But if I was somebody high up in this draft, I don't know how you pass on Cam Boozer. What his dad did in this league with a fraction of the talent his kid has with Cam Boozer, I just think that's a steal draft of the pick, and he's going to end up with the Memphis Grizzlies. Poor guy. Who's third tonight?
Well, here's the deal. Here's the deal. You say poor guy, but look, he's going to get a lot of playing time.
Yes, yeah.
He's going to.
That's a team that's overall new coach this year, right?
He's going to develop at a faster rate because they're going to force him to play through his mistakes and force him to be that.
Yeah, that's the thing you worry about.
Dog.
He made that mistake in that game where they got eliminated, Bath Pass, all that stuff. Does have a little bit of an injury concern, which is probably why he's not going 1 or 2 in this draft. But to me, it's just, my God, if he's a fry, and then he's got something his dad didn't have, also, just the NBA experience. He's going to be able to talk to his dad about it. And for me, the Utah Jazz not taking him is highway robbery because of what he did with the Jazz when his dad played at the Jazz.
But Cameron Boozer is going to play a position that Jaren Jackson and Lauri Markkanen play.
I don't care. He's probably going to be better than both of them.
Oh, he's not.
I love me some Boozer, man. I love me some Boozer. He's tough. He's going to bring something to a team that's just going to change the fundamentals of the team.
I'm telling you, if the Suns can land, I'm back to the Suns.
I'm on my Cam Boozer.
Look, I'm trying to be realistic, and like you talked about, I'm taking players in the middle of the draft to like maybe the early to mid 20s, and there are 4 players I like in that grouping. Now I've already told you about 3. But the other one is Dalen Swain from Texas.
Ooh.
So I love those 4 players.
That one intrigues me.
Again, Cameron Carr, Morez Johnson, Yaxel Lindenberg, and Dalen Swain.
They have Swain going 21 to the Detroit Pistons, who have 21. The Timberwolves draft.
Yeah, and again,
he's a wing, right?
Yeah,
he's not a guard.
Yeah.
He plays
yeah.
And but he's another one of those 6'5"-ish wing players.
He's 6'8", and he's lean. But here's the difference between what I'm getting from. I'm losing some players like Grayson Allen and Royce Allen, but I'm trying to pick up players like Dalen Swain and Cameron Carr.
Yeah.
Those
younger
guys,
versions.
Yeah, better version. Those guys, those guys can put the ball on the floor and create. If you watch the San Antonio Spurs and New York Knicks in the finals, you watched a lot of Dylan Harper. You watched a lot of Stefan Castle attacking the rim, beating people off the dribble. Yeah. Well, that's what Swain can do. That's what Carr can do. They can also shoot over the top. They're better shooters than either one of Harper or Castle. I'm telling you that that's what the Suns are lacking. And so we do know that Jalen Green can get to the basket in a heartbeat. He's the best player they have with explosiveness getting to the basket. I just added you 2 other players that can do that. But I don't know that the Suns are necessarily going to be able to do that, but they need to get more athletic. They need to get to those type of players who can score from 3 different levels, all 3 levels. I mean the ability to run the floor, to play above the rim, to shoot, to beat you off the dribble, to create for others, to create for themselves. That's what the Suns are lacking a lot of. Jalen Green is the best they have at that, but he's far from enough of that. You put players like that can do it at multiple positions on the floor, dude, you got something pretty special.
That's if they can get into the first round.
Sure.
Interesting enough, not every mock draft that I looked at, because I try to average the mock drafts, not everyone goes into the second round, or they haven't yet. They will tonight.
Yeah.
But who they have, who Yahoo Sports has the Phoenix Suns taking, and I kind of like this, Jaden Bradley from Arizona.
I don't like that at all.
You don't like that as a point guard coming out?
I'll
Get the ball out of Booker's hands.
Hey, look, let me tell you something. I'm doing that. You already have Colin Gillespie. You have Jalen Green, and if I can get some of those young kids I just talked about, you got that. But here's a guy I like again, and he played in the Big 12. And I think the Suns are going to have to move up to get him. They're going to move up off 47. But he's Richie Saunders. He played with A.J. DeBonza at BYU.
Yeah. Did he get injured?
Yeah, he did. He tore his ACL.
Yeah,
so he probably won't
be out most of this season. He did it late in the year too.
Yeah. So he's probably going to miss a lot of the season. But I'm telling you, if you ever watch a kid play at BYU, the kid can shoot.
BYU got worse after he went out.
They most certainly did.
Yeah, absolutely.
So look, A.J. DeBonza could create off the dribble, and when the defense would collapse, he can. And A.J.'s a willing passer, kicks it out to the corner or to the wing to Richie Saunders. Here goes a three. I mean, BYU was really good when they had that dynamic, but when Saunders tore his ACL, and again, I'm drafting him not necessarily for this year, but if the Suns were able to get Richie Saunders. And we already know what type of shooter Kobe Brea is. You bring and if they can get people like Cameron Carr
I just don't want to see another 6'5" guy that's going to stand at the 3-point line and go unless he's got talent. I just don't want to see it. They have enough of those guys.
No, I'm telling you. Because we're getting rid of them. We're getting rid of Grayson Allen. We're getting rid of Grayson O'Neal. But I'm telling you when I'm if you like watch some.
But the guys you're talking about do play that position, but they'll also explode to the basket.
Oh my
Grayson
gosh,
Allen and Royce O'Neal don't do that. They
absolutely.
I don't want another 6'5", 6'6" guy that stands outside on the 3-point line and just
absolutely.
Does that.
Like I said, if you were impressed and liked how Dylan Harper and Stephon Castle exploded to the basket, attacked the basket off the dribble. You'll like Cameron Carr.
Absolutely. Just some other. So that's your preview of the Suns tonight. On if they can get into the first round and the second round, who they look at. By the way, I don't see because, like I said, not everybody does second round draft picks. I don't see anybody having him listed as even being drafted.
Richie Saunders.
Saunders.
Well, it's probably because he tore his ACL.
Injured. Yeah, I would imagine that would be why. Because you said earlier you'd have to move up a little bit. That doesn't mean at all. We'll see more second-round draft picks tonight after the first round goes. Koa Pete looks to be going late first round. Everybody has him in the 22 to 25 range. Most common team I see him being drafted by? Los Angeles Lakers.
Really?
Yeah. For him, going over there, I think that'll be a fantastic. It looks like LeBron's going to go back there, but I think that'd be a good fit for him. Now, how much will he pay? Would be the question.
Well, what Koa needs to do to take that next step up, he has to develop a perimeter shot, and I mean a consistent one. That's the only thing that's holding him back because his physicality.
But part of that was Arizona keeping him down from. That's not the offense of Arizona, where their coach down there didn't want him outside shooting. Nobody outside shooting those long shots.
Well, I'm not just necessarily talking about a 3-point shot. I mean, just a mid-range shot. He doesn't show the consistency in that, but it's there though. He can develop
his size and he's got a 7-foot wingspan.
He's a physical player. I mean, he can handle the ball. He can play deep. He just does all those little things that lead to winning because he's been a winner everywhere he's been.
Yeah, the blurb that I see about him the most, they talk about obviously is in the pros. This is Ryan Dunn's problem. You need an outside shot to survive in the pros, and that's his problem.
Absolutely. He has to develop that shot. And you're right. Ryan Dunn came from Virginia. With a noted reputation of being a defensive stalwart,
couldn't shoot at all. Yeah. He improved his shooting.
He did, which is why I applaud him. And at the same time, I just don't understand Oso Ighodaro. Oso, dude, you can't have a push shot throughout your career.
You gotta shoot from that elbow, man.
Yeah, dude, yeah. If the Suns are going to get better, they have to have their their young players they drafted, continue to develop.
You can't move Oso out to that 4 spot where I think he would be really good at unless he has that outside shot.
And he doesn't have the body type 4 or 5, so he's an undersized 5.
He would dominate in that 4 spot if he could shoot outside.
Absolutely.
Just pull that guy, pull your other 4 out there.
I just find it inexcusable because look, he handles the ball extremely well for a big, and he showed that this past year that when he puts the ball on the floor, he can finish with either hand. I think that's impressive. That's very good. Also, get your behind on that free throw line and become a better free throw shooter. Yeah. Get your behind out there and work on shooting 300 shots a day before you take your butt in. Yeah, you can do it mid range. I'm not asking you to be a 3-point sniper. Mid range.
Interesting enough, now the Mavericks just got a new head coach, Dusty May from
Is it
Michigan.
official?
Well, it's not official, but he's announced he's going.
Right.
And I've heard rumors that there's recruiting issues at Michigan. Might be one reason he's jumping. Only reason I bring that up is a name that's familiar around here at ASU circles 2 years ago, 17 years old when he was here. Oh, I'm seeing a lot of talk of Jaden Quinton's going last here in the first round, or 28th, 29th, 30th. The most popular place I see him being drafted, Jaden Quinton, who played 1 game last year coming off of that ACL tear at Kentucky, I think it was. It was Kansas, Kentucky.
Yeah.
They have him going 30th, most likely, to the Dallas Mavericks.
Well, let's put it like this. Quaintance is probably the best defensive big in the draft. And people are going to base
young.
When he played at ASU,
he's
he was
19 now. He's 17 there.
Yeah. And so, look, ACL is not a death sentence injury. So
especially when you're that tall, because you're not having to leap out of the building,
right? And he's young. So if you try to play to his potential, you can always use a physical, defensive-minded center. I mean, look at what Jalen Duren has turned into in Detroit. Yeah. Well,
by the way, they list him under his blurbs in a lot of places, even if they don't have him in the first round. They say, I see multiple, 1, 2, 3, 4 people saying he could be the most talented defender in this whole draft class.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you
So
go.
four people mentioned this. They
Look, when I saw him play at ASU, the dude couldn't shoot.
Remember when he was swatting guys shooting threes and he'd step out and block them?
Dude, he was amazing. He was amazing. And so I was sad to see him go. But what didn't surprise me. But yeah, I mean, people see, look, NBA scouts and GMs are not stupid. They understand this dude's defensive IQ and defensive abilities.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing when you see 4 different, I did a Yahoo Sports, NBA.com, Athletic, ESPN. I kind of just look at him and average.
Well, he has way too much time on his hands.
I told you, I know way too much about the NBA draft than I do. And tomorrow I'm going to be like, all right, who cares? It's amazing how much I do on that. So those are the big guys that I see. A couple other, I told you, Bradley will go in this. He'll probably be a second rounder, but Bradley from Arizona will be drafted. And then the guy that was injured a lot last year starts with a name. Not a Waka.
Toby Awaka from the U of A?
He'll be drafted tomorrow as well, just for U of A. I'm going to assume he'll be a second rounder going to. We'll just talking the local guys out there. On
anybody from ASU? Anybody from Grand Canyon?
No, Grand Canyon has that one young kid, but obviously he's not coming out. But got that one young kid that's probably going to get drafted when he decides to go. The center kid, I can't remember his name right now. I think he's still there. I don't think he's transferred. Really quick, I know we're into overtime here, but Gillespie, Goodwin, culture changers with this team.
I love the re-signings.
The money's good for you too. I think it's team-friendly deals. Is what I think.
Oh yeah. Look. You get Jordan Goodwin averaging what, $6 million a year?
He's about 6, yeah, and then Gillespie's 12.
12, yeah. Look, I like it. I like it. Now, I like what they were. I don't like the fact that they gave up 2 firsts for Mark Williams. But if I can trade Mark Williams and get a first back, and maybe a future second, but just a first back that could help me in this year's draft, I'm good with that.
I think it's telling they didn't sign Mark Williams, though, because the first time you could talk to your own players was this weekend. the fact they haven't signed him tells you what they're thinking.
Well. Here's the deal. He's a restricted free
He
agent,
is.
so they've already put an
Yes.
offer on the sheet, so they can have the ability to match any offer that he gets. But unlike they did with DeAndre Ayton when they matched his deal from Indiana, I wouldn't be looking for the Suns to match. But if they did match, it'd be a match and trade.
Only way Mark Williams is the one player that has the potential where some team's going to get stupid giving him money, meaning just too much money.
Yeah.
And look at the Lakers, to me, the team that do that, by the way. Pay attention to that. But a team could step up and pay him a lot of money, which the Suns won't want to match at that point.
No,
he's the one player that the Suns have.
And look, if the Suns are going to continue to play Oso at the 5, this is the year that they have to get Kaman Malawak more minutes. And so you do that by getting rid of either moving Oso to the 4 with development and 4 skills, or moving out Mark Williams.
Oh yeah, Mark. That's why Mark Williams would be on this. I agree with you on the Grayson Allen. I said that last year. He's just injury. If it was Grayson Allen when he first got to the Suns, I'd keep him all day long. But then he got injured, got buffed up, and got injured, and then last year was injured a lot. It's just time to move on from that front. Just really quick, some big moves here in the NBA. Just get your final thoughts on this. The Giannis nightmare is finally over.
Yeah. Hey, look. I
wonder if he really quick. I wonder if he put a bet in with Kelce that he would be moved from there. What a joke of that was.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing, going to Miami Heat, and the Miami Heat got rid of a player that they have turned down trading multiple. I can tell you, a lot of teams wanted Tyler Hero over the years, and the Miami Heat has always said no and turned down deals to improve their team to keep him. And he's a great player. I think he's fantastic.
He's one of the better shooters in the league.
But they finally unloaded him here with this Giannis trade there.
Yeah. Look. The Bucks did okay. I mean, they really did. They have 3 future first-round picks, including number 13 this year, which is big because I think they also have 10. I think so. They now have 10 and 13. You're adding Khalil Ware, who's an emerging big in the league. Yep. You have Tyler Hero.
Jamie Jacquez Jr.
Yeah, and look,
and the other foreigner. Good luck pronouncing the name.
Yeah, Jasper Kaspers. Yeah, look, I'm surprised. I'm surprised at Jaquez. I watched him play with the UCLA Bruins.
Yeah,
and I just thought that I said, man, that you're only like 6'8", and all that stuff you're doing down low. I mean, that's not going to work in the league. Yeah. And yet, this kid, he plays a lot. I should say his sister at UCLA plays like him. They just play with a nonstop motor.
Yeah, his sister's going to get drafted in the WNBA.
His nonstop motor and tenacity makes him special. Kind of like what makes Jordan Goodwin special with the Suns is that they just do everything.
And that's the thing though. His chemistry with the Heat was really good. Is it going to work in Milwaukee? It's now they got rid of the worst coach, in my opinion, in NBA basketball history, Doc Rivers. I can't stand that guy. So maybe there's hope for him up there, but it's a culture fit. But I agree. I think Milwaukee obviously is retooling, but they get rid of the headache. They get rid of the nonsense that's happening around Giannis. But the bigger thing to me was I was convinced. One, I was telling you, I think Pat Riley has been known to turn down trades, be like Tyler Hero because he wants to keep them and stuff. The fact that Pat Riley made this specific move to bring Giannis, and they have holes in their team now, where they unloaded half their team to get him. I think this is Pat Riley realizing it as an age here, going, I only got one more run in me. I don't want to be the 10th seed anymore.
Well, he's also figured out that from his days in L.A., when the stars come out to watch stars, they do the same in Miami.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
And so Miami now has a star like they did when they had the triplets there with LeBron, D Wade, and Bosh.
But even before LeBron got there, everybody was going to see D Wade. And
right. So they brought an attraction, a must see attraction. So Miami expect the turnstiles and the gate.
The interesting thing about this is Milwaukee. If you don't know the story, it came out they were delaying plane flights for him. They was late to meetings for Giannis. Pat Riley's not. I remember one story where LeBron went to Dwayne Wade when they had first gotten there and they were playing. And Dwayne said, let's go out to the clubs tonight, and I'll private plane it to whatever city they're going next. And even Dwayne Wade, the statesman of that team, looked at him and said, Yeah, you got to get that approved by Riley, and he ain't approving that. And LeBron was on that plane going to the next city. They don't mess around there. If Giannis pulls any of that shenanigans in Miami, he ain't going to fit in. Pat Riley has no qualms.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to be fascinating to me. Milwaukee let him get away with a lot of that stuff. Miami will not.
Yeah.
But fascinating.
Well, that's good.
But I was convinced he was going to the Boston Celtics. I've been waiting for it. I thought he was going to do it at the trade deadline to Boston. When you offered Jaylen Brown,
yeah, man,
plus draft pick, 2 first-round draft picks,
yeah, man,
as well, and you turn that down.
But I will say this: as talented as Jaylen Brown is, if that's all I was going to get was Boston's lower end first-round picks, and
that's a problem.
Jaylen Brown,
yeah.
I'm getting 4 pretty good players, but two that I know can play at an all-star type level.
Jaylen Brown changes your franchise.
He does. No question. But I'm also intrigued by the fact that they now have 10 and 13. They have 10 and 13 and 4 players who.
No, I'm not saying that. I just was convinced he was going to Boston and then Miami stepped it up.
Look. It's very difficult to say.
That also has to do with your division and stuff too, right? Like you don't want to give it to your competitor team over there in Boston.
Well, I mean, Miami's in the East and so is Boston. So.
Well, that is true.
But I will say this that I think Milwaukee did pretty good.
Now the other side of it is I want to see how Jaylen Brown feels about Celtics trying to trade him to Milwaukee.
Yeah, we already knew that his relationship with Jason Tatum wasn't the best.
Yeah, it's always been on rocky terms and stuff. Well, because they battle back and forth.
Sure.
They both want to be the stars and all of that stuff there. So Pat Riley making that big move out there. Just really quick as we close. By the way, Portugal's up 2-0, 20 minutes into this game over Uzbekistan right now in the World Cup. That's wow. Trae Young, I told you, 4 years, $212 million deal to stay with the Washington Wizards. I legitimately question if Trae Young wants to win.
Yeah, you can do that. But here's the deal. If you're the Washington Wizards, you now have Anthony Davis, who you question if he wants to play.
Issue number 2.
And then you look at what they've done with like Alex Sarr and some of these early draft picks that they've had, and they have the 3rd pick this year. I mean the first pick this year.
That's why they're going to take
Yeah. And so I'm like they are putting together a young talented roster.
Yeah,
they really are.
It's just you sit there and you go, Washington.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Committing to 4 years. If you weren't happy in Atlanta, you're not going to be happy in Washington.
Yeah, and here's the deal. It's not like they haven't been down this road before with Bradley Beal. I mean, they're paying big-time money for people who don't really move the needle or move the roster. But look,
Bradley Beal was great in Washington, but he didn't allow anybody else to be great.
Yeah. And so I'm curious because Washington, based on the fact that, but unlike San Antonio, where they weren't getting the first overall picks and getting people like the big freak, the big 7. Look, they weren't getting Wemby, and look, Wemby was first overall pick. Stefan Castle was second overall pick.
Yeah.
Dylan Harper was 3rd overall pick. Look how they have transformed that San Antonio Spurs team.
I hate to say it because San Antonio is obviously our hated thing, but that team's fun to watch.
Yeah,
that team's fun to watch, and I hated them because of Popovich and their antics and stuff. That team's nothing like that now. That team was just fun to watch with Castle and Harper and stuff from that side. Last trade I got here for you, Coop. I know we're going long today, folks.
It surprised me. Gosh.
Minnesota, Julius Randle, number 28 pick in the NBA draft to the Brooklyn Nets. It ended up being a 3-team trade. Nick Claxton went to the Bulls as well. But Timberwolves are going to get Brooklyn's number 33 pick for Randle. Then, of course, number 28 as well.
But see, that was all about a salary dump.
Yeah, for Minnesota.
And which it allows them to sign a Soyo.
Yes.
A young
which they
kid.
signed,
Yeah. And so, but it did surprise me.
They signed DeSumnu, right?
Yeah.
5-year, $112 million contract.
Dude, I didn't know they gave him that much. Yeah. Wow, I didn't know they signed him already.
Yeah, it came out. think it was either yesterday or early this. It was last night, 8:44 p.m.
Okay, well, I missed that.
Yeah, Timberwolves. Obviously they wanted him, so that was a salary dump with Randall to go with him. But the Timberwolves trying to, they got a problem with their star player, injury prone, and just dapping up the other team with 8 minutes to go in the third quarter when he's about to lose the series. They're trying to, I don't know, change that culture or what out there. Coop, I know we went long today, but I wanted to get in on the NBA talk. You're the genius. I can only do so much studying, and we got to get the expert in here. Bruce Cooper.
You said, look, I watch a lot of NFL, and I watch a lot of college, and in both football and basketball. So I'm a little up on some of the players, and I have an eye for talent, people. I may not possess any talent, but I can see talent in other people. I'm telling you, Cameron Carr, if the Suns can get him.
I wrote down the names. We're going to keep our eyes on where they go. I just find it hard that the Suns will move up into the first round, which to me would be disappointing. I'd like to see them at least make an effort. You might not be able to do it,
right?
But I want to hear afterwards that they made calls to move up.
Yeah, well, watch. I'd be shocked. I'd roll over and hit my head twice if the Thunder keep both of their first round picks.
I agree with you on that. Yeah, I agree with you on that. They won that. Those players aren't going to come in and bounce into this team and play. They're just going to sit there.
They're going to add to a they're going to add to a salary that that the Thunder they don't want to go to
unload,
especially with Chet Holmgren's and Jalen Williams contracts kicking.
And that's why the salary dump yesterday with Wiggins moving on was. I mean, could you imagine one trade and you go from 209? This is in the tax money, 220 million. It was roughly down to 159 or something, and one player moving. That owner's like, oh, thank God.
And they're only getting, you said, second round picks, which don't count
for 2030 and 2032. Those second rounds aren't guaranteed still in the NBA.
They don't count on your roster because they're not guaranteed.
I get confused. The NFL, they're not guaranteed, but they're fighting for them to be guaranteed. So I get confused on that. Really quick, Robert says Peterson, aren't his initials DNP? I love that. That kid, I'm curious on that kid's head case going into Utah. And then Robert says, given the way the Spurs series was officiated, do you think the Thunder need to change their flopping philosophy?
Well, I'll tell you what, Chet they need somebody that's going to add some physicality because Chet Holmgren, man, I was just stunned.
He got bullied in that championship.
And he pretty much became a player that was just taking up space out on the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, dude.
He turned into DeAndre Ayton, Coop.
Oh, dude.
That's what he turned into.
And that's not good. That's not good.
He's watching the game from underneath the hoop while everybody's running around him.
And that's pretty good, too. That's pretty good. That's pretty good because that's what he turned into in Game 7. I think he took, 2 shots
Yeah,
in Game
but
7?
it was before that, too. He was just dominating.
It was.
But Game 7,
right.
he didn't even.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
That was why I was joking around going, man, he turned into DeAndre Ayton against Giannis. In that series. There's question mark. You don't think that ownership was like, oh crap, we're paying this guy how much?
Yeah.
He just disappeared as well. Robert says, isn't Boozer a less athletic co-repeat? Yeah, he's more of a bruiser co-repeat if you want to put it to that term.
Yeah.
But
I think
Boozer can hit outside shots right now.
Yeah, Boozer can.
He can hit outside shots right now.
But he said athletic.
Yeah, athletic. I would agree.
That's an interesting question.
Yeah, how do you judge athleticism?
Yeah,
because they both can go get the ball. They both can jump. They're both fast. I think his wingspan is bigger than Boozer's. Boozer's mean. He's just like his dad. He's mean out there. He's not afraid to stick his head in there and do some stuff as well. So Robert says that's a lot for a guy that can't shoot. Bucks come out smelling like a rose. For Giannis.
Hey, say what you look. Giannis hasn't been able to shoot since he's entered the league, basically, and yet he's probably the most dynamic two-way player in the game, and the kid still led the Bucks to an NBA title, one in which still hurts me because it denied my Phoenix Suns one.
Isn't he only like 33 years old?
He's like 31 or 32. Yeah, something like that. He's like 31, 32.
To me, he's the head case. Ever since they won that championship, he became a head case, and if a team's going to solve that head case problem, it's going to be the Miami Heat. But Pat Riley, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, but
I just worry about his head case. I just worry about him on
look,
that side.
that's the way some teams in the East figured out how to beat the Bucks. They played the rope-a-dope.
Yeah.
They just packed it inside and forced Giannis to shoot from the outside, and he can't do it.
He looks
Not
like
consistently.
Looks like me shooting out there as well. We appreciate you coming and joining us today.
All right, enjoyed
Interesting
it.
enough. I'll talk more about this tomorrow, but ESPN did the 32 players that shined in the OTAs and stuff thing. For the Cardinals, they had wide receiver Devin DuVernay as the player that signed. Yeah, he signed that 1-year deal in March. Fourth team in 4 years.
Well, he's more of that return specialist guy.
Yeah. Special teams is where he's going to get his side of things as well. But my point is that that's the guy that shined for you, and you're the Cardinals.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how you can glean a lot out of OTAs because they don't put on the pads or anything like that. You just run
Dale
around.
gets so mad.
And it's like kind of half speed anyway.
He gets so mad when you bring it up. He's like, our OTAs, we were full pads and throwing up on the sideline. And he's like, the players today, whatever. Coop, appreciate you coming in.
I appreciate it. Enjoy
Had
it.
a little 30 minutes left. Yeah, we went really long talking NBA draft, but I apologize if you guys, for you guys out there giving you extra show. You're welcome. I won't even charge you for it. We'll see you next week, Coop.
Okay.
Everybody else, we'll see you tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, or 8 o'clock, here for the main event, 7 o'clock from McCollum on Business. Have a great night. Portugal's up 2-0, 20 minutes into this game.
Oh, about
Uzbekistan. Gotta learn how to play some football out there. See y'all tomorrow.